We'd like to welcome to the stage Mr. Alan Gilmore, who is the supervising art director for the Harry Potter films. Next, Mr. Stuart Craig, who is the production designer for the Harry Potter films and, of course, the Wizarding World. Next, Mr. Terry Coup, who is the SVP of Universal Creative. And finally, Mr. Mark Woodbury, who is the president of Universal Creative. So I'm going to kick things off with the first question. If you could find my colleague Laura here if you have a question, and we'll get you guys in order. So first I'd like to start with Mr. Craig. Stuart, could you tell us what it's been like to take this Wizarding World from a movie set and now recreating it in quite literally a floor-to-ceiling environment?
That is the big difference, really. This is what Alan and I normally do in the scenery, basically an illusion. And this is much more than that. This has a level of reality, real space, real time. Everything is functioning. It's built for people, their comfort, their ease of moving through and so on. So this is, for us, this is quite a unique experience and very gratifying to have something so permanent, quite unlike real film sets.
Hi, riding Forbidden Journey last night, after having been on it many times in Islands of Adventure, I was very excited to see some of the enhancements, especially the arms on the Dementors. I know that Islands of Adventure has a refurb for their Hogwarts coming up. Is there any chance we can see some of the enhancements from this Forbidden Journey moving backwards?
Seth asked if there were any plans to enhance the other Forbidden Journey attractions as they are here in Hollywood Park.
Bringing Hogwarts and Forbidden Journey to Hollywood was a pretty big adventure, and taking what we had in Orlando at the high bar that we had set and finding ways to enhance that was a pretty considerable challenge. But we did find a few places to do that, and you're pretty astute to pick up on a couple of them. But we really kind of like the idea that we have two different versions. I mean, even the notion of the 3D in Hollywood and the 2D in Orlando, at least for the near future, we see leading them that way. Much like you see films come out in 2D and 3D, we kind of like the idea. I think it's pretty cool that they have two different versions of the journey for people to enjoy. Gives you a reason to go to both parks.
To that point, I was going to ask, what are some of the features that this park has that the Orlando one doesn't have? Are there any details that you'd like to highlight?
She asked if there were any details that are different between our parks here at Hogsmeade and our other locations.
Yeah, the arms of the Dementors. Now there are quite a few. I'll take a few, and Alan has a lot more to talk about, I'm sure about that. But we were able to, on the Forbidden Journey, which is already one of the world's best dark rides, we were able to enhance it by adding some more sets, scenery, details to that. We added the 3D element to it as well, which allowed us to bring other really cool characters and effects to the guest even closer and really feel the snitch when it comes at you in the Quidditch match, or get the Dementors right in your face and feel their breath as they come to you. Just a few of those elements that really the 3D helped us leverage on and make the experience even more immersive. So that was really great for us to be able to do that. As far as the Hogsmeade Village itself, there's a new street on the other side of the alley. And I think Alan named the street the Town Hall Street, right? Even though Hogsmeade doesn't really have names for its streets in the fiction. So a new street, there's some new shops. We added a few shops actually. Glad Rags is one of the new shops we have. Ollivanders has its own building now in Orlando. It's part of another assemble of buildings. So all that, we've heard our guests, and we heard the fans, and all the things that they really loved and wanted, and we were able to bring to them here at Universal Studios Hollywood is really contributing to making the experience even greater. And you think about a property like Harry Potter, all 7 books and 8 movies, there's no better place than the filmmaking capital of the world to have this ultimate experience. We totally revolutionized theme park experience in 2010 when we opened the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in Orlando. I think this one is just another, we've raised the bar one more time, and no better place to have Hogwarts Castle on top of the hill here, you know, in Hollywood. And so there's probably a few more that Alan can talk about. Yeah?
Just like to talk about the, for us art directors, film art directors, the quality of light is amazing here in California. So that's helped us enhance looking at the colours and the textures, and it's so vivid. I almost feel it's high definition when you look at objects here. So we also oriented the castle a little bit differently just to suit the landscape. We actually borrowed the mountains in Burbank. They're now the Scottish Highlands. So we've adopted some of the surrounding countryside to be ours, and we've designed views through the landscaping to see those. So in the greenhouse, for example, there's a lovely view of the mountain tops, which is really useful. And in fact, at Hogsmeade, we've been lucky also to get a lot of original film props, which we've incorporated into the world. They're quietly hidden and dressed into any of the interiors, but for real fans and people who are becoming great fans of Harry Potter, they can discover these cool details. Essentially, it's the same world, but just tailored slightly differently.
Right here at the front.
I'm from Japan, and we do have, it's a following up section, so we do have the Harry Potter park in Japan. What's the difference? How do we sell to the Japanese people for this park?
She asked how they sell, having a Wizarding World in Japan, how they sell or market our park here in LA to the Japanese market.
Well, I think Terry hit on it. I mean, this is the capital, entertainment capital of Los Angeles is right here in Universal Studios Hollywood. So it's a totally different experience than Universal Studios Japan, starting with the studio tour as one of the big anchor attractions here in Hollywood. The Wizarding World of Harry Potter, a little bit different than the one in Japan, but I would say generally the park experience is just totally different from Universal Studios Japan, and now you have to see all three.
So of course, with the movies, we saw unprecedented amounts of people just lining up and waiting to see them. Tell me a little bit about what kind of response we saw back here in Orlando with opening 2010. What kind of response we're expecting to see now in 2016? What type of numbers as far as visitation now is going, expect that to continue on?
She asked, following up from the incredible response we got in 2010 to the Wizarding World, what they're expecting to see here in LA.
Well, in 2010, we saw just a tremendous reaction in Orlando to the opening of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. In 2014, we saw a tremendous response to the opening of Diagon Alley in Orlando. At Universal Studios Japan, an unbelievable reaction. We expect the same here. I mean, this is a modern classic franchise, film, books, movies, theme park that really touches a certain spot in people's hearts, and it really is truly amazing to see the reaction of guests as they come through the gates of Hogwarts and Hogsmeade and have that experience of stepping into the movies and the books that they love. And so our expectations are quite high, and they were in the past, and we think we'll see that again.
Young lady right to her right.
What is the experience you aim to create for visitors?
She asked, what is the main experience that they aim to create for visitors here to the Universal Studios Park in Hollywood?
Well, our goal has been to transport our guests and the fans of Harry Potter into the stories, to place them right in the middle of the world that Harry Potter lived into, you know, and experience all the excitement, all the challenges, everything he's experienced in his life through the fiction. And the idea is to place you in the middle of all that, and whether you're flying above Hogwarts on a broomstick or in a Quidditch match encountering Dementors, going to buy candy at Honeydukes and all those things, we've taken the best of the films, of the books, and collaborated with J.K. Rowling, who's the better person to collaborate with. We want to go back to the source. And then with Stuart Craig and Alan Gilmore, David Yates, the filmmakers, Warner Brothers, really formed the dream team that really could put this kind of experience together and place you in the middle of what feels like you've really arrived into the world of Harry Potter.
You mentioned that there are some props from the movies kicking around the area. Can you let us know some of those and also some other little details
She was curious as to where some of the props from the movies might be located in the land here.
There are actually quite a lot of props. There are some very small, some quite large. For example, in the train compartment in Housing Station, the luggage racks are the actual racks from the set. So it's a nice detail where somebody can sit inside the train carriage and almost touch the detail that the main characters touch. The fabric on the seats is from the set. It's old British rail fabric. In the dark arts classroom in Hogwarts, we have the actual school desks from the dark arts set. And the chalkboard is the original chalkboard. It's very beautiful. But what's really great is that Universal Creative's prop team have made props of such amazing high quality. They blend perfectly with the film props. So it's all one seamless place, really. And we don't want to put signs on the props and say, this is a film prop. This is a real place. It's a real working town. We want you to feel you're actually within the world of Harry Potter and you're not attending a museum visit. It's an actual experience that you are the character.
So Universal announced that the first 3 days of the opening of Harry Potter, tomorrow, Friday, that are totally sold out. What's your reaction to that, as it is pretty impressive?
She's asking about the reaction to the fact that the opening day has been sold out.
That's what you call a high-class problem. I guess it goes back to the previous question. We expected a big response. We're getting a big response. We want to make sure that the experience is great for everybody. So it's a pretty big problem to have, that you can sell out with this kind of notice and the expectations being as high as they are.
You mentioned some of the enhancements to the Forbidden Journey ride. Could you talk maybe a little bit more about some of the other details, other things that have been changed?
He's asking about, in addition to the enhancements to Forbidden Journey, if there's any other details that have been enhanced.
You're talking about in the Forbidden Journey or just the rest of the...
No, the ride itself.
Oh, the ride itself. Yeah, so I mentioned the 3D, which is a big deal because we went back into the media, into the film, and we've taken a lot of the elements that we had shot back in 2008, and we brought those in 3D much closer. We're able to bring, I said, Dementors much closer to the dragon, even the action of the dragon in one of the first flying scenes above Hogwarts, around Hogwarts Castle. We were able to change that to really bring the dragon much closer, even closer than we had before. The firewall coming at us, that's another one that we're doing in 3D now, the snitch. Each scene basically was completely enhanced to allow the guests to feel like they were right here with the actors. We've actually repositioned the actors in 3D. Besides that, the sets and the scenery, we've expanded. We have such a positive response, obviously, from all the guests that rode the original Forbidden Journey in Orlando about how immersive everything was. Well, we took it one notch further, where we expanded on the sets and the scenery within the ride, inside the ride. So wherever you are in the forest, we expanded on the forest. We've added more sets and scenery there, and it's true to all the scenes. The Chamber of Secrets, we added a lot more sets as well. We feel that we keep striving for the ultimate immersive experience, and I think we were able to do that.
Hi, Pottery from Brazil here. How was the experience to have John Williams playing in front of the castle that you guys did? So how was that? And any plans for future parts in other parts of the world?
She asked about the experience of having John Williams perform the last evening event.
Well, as you know, the music of John Williams is a huge part of the Harry Potter movies. And we couldn't have done this without him. I mean, it brings the emotions, it brings the story. He tells half of the story we're trying to tell with the visuals, and having him and his brilliance involved in the grand opening is a huge statement for us. It just really reminds everyone how much we place importance and really a lot of weight on all the creative minds that were part of the original franchise and the original movies. So, he helped us score the Forbidden Journey. He helped us score a lot of the experience around here, and so we feel it was really fantastic.
He was part of the mix from the very beginning. Chris Columbus on the first Harry Potter.
Yes,
new, and it's this thing that
John Williams actually wrote the score, and as I say, he's been there ever since then, which is sort of 16 years ago.
John,
unlike the natural or the
occurrences of castles in Europe. We don't have any real castles here in the United States, and yet we have a couple of them now in Southern California. Is this the largest castle in Southern California?
Well, the beauty of Harvard's Castle is it doesn't compare to anything else. I mean, we were able, with the brilliance of Stuart and Alan, we were able to create Harvard's Castle here to appear as if it was 700 feet tall. I mean, that was the goal, and it feels that way when you look at it. If you were at the event last night, or when you walk through the arch of Hogsmeade and you look above the buildings, it's just massive. It appears to be, it's using some of the film techniques, the film tricks, but that was our goal, and we've achieved it. It feels massive.
Yeah, right front.
Last night's presentation with the image mapping and fireworks were so spectacular. Obviously, you can't do a live orchestra every single night, but would there be any plans in the future to do something similar as a nightly show on the castle?
For the folks in the back, he asked if last night's show, there were any plans to make that a regular occurrence at the park.
Yeah, I totally agree. Last night's preview was stunning. It was really, again, raising the bar another level. We may do something that's more permanent in the future, because obviously you saw the imagery was stunning, and we can do that today with technology, and why not?
Can you speak to what the capacity of the park is, and given the experience in Orlando, what you expect the crowds and the lines to be like?
She asked what we're expecting from the crowds on opening day.
Well, we've been able to manage, our operations teams are so well, we're so experienced in dealing with all our guests and huge crowds, and we don't see any issues with being able to allow everyone to experience all the attractions, and the beauty of an experience like Forbidden Journey, even if you're in line, the line itself is an attraction. So that's the beauty of what we do, and the immersion of everything here at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter and other attractions. But when you are waiting for an attraction experience and going to a shop, you're part of the whole story. You're part of the immersion, and that's what makes it really pleasant and immersive for us.
Considering you guys have done 2 of these parks based on your production design, is there anything in particular with this opportunity here? Alan was saying the lighting is so much more vibrant here. Was there anything that you wanted to add, or that you knew with this opportunity that you wanted to incorporate from what you've done with films?
She's asked Stuart if there are any other opportunities being in LA to build upon the experiences he's already created.
I think it was an opportunity to do things, have a second stab, a third stab, and some of our techniques have been richly enhanced here. The way the snow sits on the roof, the formation of the icicles, the leaves, and so on. One of the paintings surrounding you now is quite interesting. One thing that I find fun is the element of dirt. I think dirt is a really, really good feature here, especially in sunny California where everything is bleached and stark and clean. Black soot and verdigris and moss and damp stains and runs. It was fun to explore that and extend it and get more value out of it in this park.
Thank you guys so much.